From architecture to painting and sculpture, literature to live music and theater. Radio 111 presents Bonnie G and Brian Mendoza with The Desert Scene, your connection to culture and entertainment in the desert cities. Here's Bonnie and Brian.
And welcome to The Desert Scene. I'm Bonnie G here with Brian Mendoza, my fabulous producer. And we are so happy to welcome to The Desert Scene today Dan Gelfand, who is one of the co-producers of a fabulous show, Mid-Century Moderns, that is playing now at Desert Rose Playhouse. Just wonderful. Hi, Dan. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you, Bonnie?
I'm good. So this is just such a fun show. I highly recommend people go see it. It runs through May 8th over at Desert Rose Playhouse. So tell us a little bit, this is a new musical, tell us a little bit of the story of how this came to be.
Well, Mark Christopher, who's my co-producer and who wrote the book for the show and is directing the production. We've been friends for 40-some years and grew up in Iowa separately, but we're both from Iowa. And we've ended up in California on our separate journeys. And we were sitting at school one day after the fabulous Palm Springs Follies closed here in Palm Springs. Mm-hmm. And we said we should come up with another show that would play in Palm Springs for, locals and tourists alike. And that was kind of Palm Springs centric. And let's see if we can do it. And we spent a lot of time in the pool, around the pool, drinking cocktails and brainstorming on what would be a fun show to do, something that inspired us. We, other people. And Mark was inspired by his cousin who lives in Wisconsin, mm-hmm. and was a 50s housewife and divorced her husband in the 60s and really kind of came into her own as a woman, kind of a modern woman, if you will, in the 60s. And we were inspired by that because Palm Springs is all about the 60s and also about transformation. So many people have moved to Palm Springs as a second chapter in their lives. And we relate to that ourselves, both of us having done that. So we kind of took all these ideas together and wanted to do something that also played off of both of our loves for 60s pop music, mm-hmm. and Mid-Century Moderns was born.
And it's just so, and this is what's called, I guess there's actually a term for it, genre, a jukebox musical, meaning that it's filled with songs that we all know from maybe a different era and time. And it's just such fun. I mean, things like Wives and Lovers, It's Not Unusual, Something Stupid, You Don't Own Me, I Know a Place, a little bit of soul. I mean, just such great music. And now tell me about the casting process. I mean, your cast is fabulous. Tell me about that.
Well, the cast is all local from the Coachella Valley, which
mm-hmm.
is fantastic. There's so much talent here in this valley of performers, of people who have moved here, and mm-hmm. also people who have grown up here. And we tapped into that, along with working with the Desert Rose Playhouse. Mm-hmm. Some of the people in the show were referred to us by Desert Rose Playhouse because they have a wealth of talent in their productions. And we cast Christine Tringali Nunes as our lead, and mm-hmm. she is fantastic.
She's wonderful.
She is.
Yeah.
It's like a star role. We on purpose created this role for a woman in her 40s, 50s, mm-hmm. if you will, mm-hmm. And because there's not a lot of great roles for women in that age range, and
True.
This specifically was a a part that it's about a woman who is at a crossroads in her life. Her husband has just died. She's been kind of held down as a housewife in Wisconsin and really wants to live.
Yeah.
And she decides she wants to uproot herself and move to California because that's where everything is happening in 1966. Mm-hmm. And she just cashes in his insurance policy, the payment that she received, and packs up her car and moves out to California. And Christine really taps into that, of her insecurities, her longings, and her newfound confidence.
Yeah.
And there's a couple moments in the show where that really becomes apparent. And, You Don't Own Me and
Yes.
Am I the Same Girl? Those two songs that Christine just delivers a powerhouse performance.
Yeah, I was so lucky to, I also write reviews for CV Independent. I was so lucky to go to opening night and get to review it, and it was fabulous. And one of the great moments is when she breaks into You Don't Own Me, and the audience cheers because,
Right.
everybody knows what that's like to break free from somebody that's trying to control them. And it's also so upbeat and happy. Of course, Robbie Wayne is in. Dana Adkins, who's a dear friend of mine, just almost steals the show. She's hilarious.
Hilarious.
Yeah. She's wonderful. James Owens, Gary Powers, Carlos Garcia's fabulous. The cast is terrific. I wanted to ask you the process of writing it. When you have two people kind of coming together to write something, sometimes that meshes well and sometimes it doesn't. But I guess it really just was a natural process for you and Mark.
Well, he wrote it. What we did was we brainstormed and came up with the arc of the story together. But the actual book and the writing was his doing, so I give him full credit for that. And then it was a process. He wrote a script, and then we tweaked it back and forth, working on it. I gave him feedback, and then we did a series of readings here in Palm Springs over, a year and a half, 2 years, where we staged readings. The very first one was for just 10 of our closest friends, just to see what's your reaction. Does this thing actually fly? Mm-hmm. Do we have something here? And we had a really positive reaction from those 10 people. So we knew we were onto something. And then that led to, we did 2 readings at the Purple Room in Palm Springs, and we did 2 additional readings a year later after making changes in the show at AJ's on the Green, and that was in Cathedral City.
Right.
And then we made additional changes from those readings to the production that we have now. Mm-hmm. So it's been an ongoing process of developing, changing characters, moving scenes, deleting scenes, adding songs, deleting songs to make it, the show that we're seeing today.
Yeah. And I have to say, it's because I've seen, putting on a new musical, a world premiere musical can be challenging, and not everything, works. It's kind of a gamble, right? And I have to say, I think you guys, first of all, the tech was flawless. Sound, lights, the music, all of that was flawless. No mic issues, none of that stuff. Your set changes were move, which is important. And I think the length is perfect. I'm a big fan of, you always leave them wanting more. And this show left us wanting more because it was so good. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And real quick, I just want to talk a little bit about your background. You have a lot of experience. And one of the things you did, you and Mark previously created and executive produced the musical reality show Real Life, the musical for the Oprah Winfrey Network. Tell us just a little bit about that.
Well, we both love musicals and pop music and movie musicals, stage musicals, and so we kind of brainstormed on the idea of, wouldn't you like your real life to be a musical where you can just break in the song at any time?
Yeah.
And so the concept of the show was based on that concept, on that idea, and you would surprise somebody at a certain moment in their life, at a big occasion or something that you want to communicate, because you can often communicate feelings and emotions much better, more effectively through song, as we all know, than you can just speaking.
Yeah.
People, dedicate songs, on the radio for that
reason. Yeah.
very thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like, I can't say this, but this song communicates it.
Right.
So, if you want to surprise someone, tell them and you love them, or that you're moving out, even you're breaking up with somebody,
Mm-hmm.
we would stage this where the person would come to our team on the show and they would say, this is what I want to communicate. And we would, rehearse them in a song and a whole production number. And then they would surprise somebody and it would actually do it in real time, in real life, and surprise this person. We would capture it on film, and that was the series. So we had we filmed 10 episodes, and we had a lot of fun doing it. It was great.
So now, are you and you and Mark both now full-time residents here in the desert?
Yeah, I'm based here full-time. Mark's based here, but he spends a lot of time in Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like his second home, and so he's gone a certain number of months, and he also works in New York for a couple months of the year. So he's traveling out and about. But
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah, he does a lot. Mark's written pilots for CBS, Fox, MTV, Sony, and Warner Brothers, etc. So I'm hoping, are you guys planning maybe future joint projects together here in the desert, since this has been such a hit?
Yeah, we have another idea for a show that we're developing right now.
Excellent.
Actually.
Excellent.
We've again around the pool with drinks, and it'll have hopefully lightning will strike twice. We'll see.
So I just have to tell people, Desert Rose Playhouse, Mid-Century Moderns, a new musical. It runs through May 8th, Wednesday and Thursday, Friday and Saturday, Sunday 2 p.m. You can get tickets either at the box office 760-202-3000 or www.desertroseplayhouse.org. It is fabulous. Directed by Mark Christopher, co-produced by Dan. Thank you so much for being with us, and thank you for the show. It's really, really a fun, entertaining evening of theater, which we could all use right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Dan Gelfand, and we'll see you guys next time on The Desert Scene.